We are on board of Lady Lene today. It's the third day of the Cannes Boat Show. My name is Anko. I'm responsible for marketing at the Valk Shipyard, and I have the pleasure to speak with Carla and Samuel from Carla Guilhem Design. Samuel, maybe you can introduce Carla Guilhem Design to us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. So we're very excited to be on our first boat show in Cannes this year with Lady Lene, a spectacular boat that we had the privilege to be involved with. We got invited by Valk and the owners of Lady Lene to participate in this project, and I think Carla is very excited to tell us all about the design.
Yes, Carla, you worked with the owners before.
Yes.
This is the first yacht project you did with them. What can you tell us about the design philosophy behind the interior of Lady Lene?
I think what they are looking for is to have the same feeling that they have in their house. Zen, calm, and I think this was our first part of the concept that we starting to looking for.
And in the interior, what materials you have used and which details were outstanding during the design process?
Well, I think as she wants like a very clean and calm sensation, we are using just few materials, natural materials like oak and the marble, and we try to combine this very raw material in a distinct way, like with textures, with different patterns, and that you can feel that it still is the same material, but it's not boring.
One of the things we can see is that the exterior lines very nicely fluent into the interior female lines. What can you tell about that to us?
Yes, when we saw first the exterior design, we thought it was very feminine. You know, that all these curves, you can feel the fluid of the design. You feel more comfortable when you have this curved line. You feel more involved by these lines.
What was different with this project with regards to designing a house or an interior of a luxury apartment? What challenges were you facing?
Well, I think designing a yacht, every millimeter matters. There is no space that you can hide. We need to hide a lot of spaces, but every inch, every millimeter is very important. It's very different in a house that you have a big space and you can fill with some furniture. Here you need to think about all the panels, all the ceilings, all the details, and I think work with Valk was very good because they are very good in make this happen. It's very different to work in a design, but it's much more rewarded because you see exactly what you dream and you see in life.
And one of the important things in design brief was the fact that it needed to be wheelchair accessible. What can you tell about that?
I think for this matter, we create a very good space for a yacht because normally we will use more the space, you know? And for example, the circulation, we have a very good corridors, we have a very good master bedroom with a huge bathroom. I think this at the first was a challenge, but the result was very good still for people that is not disabled. And then the elevator, we create the elevator, the channel for all the stairs, and at the end it was very nice because everything was around it. You need to think much more when you are limited in space. You need to find a way, you need to try here, there, one way or another, but it's nice.
What other projects are going on, not only yachting? What are you doing at the moment?
Well, we are doing other yachts. We are doing maybe 4 or 5 projects right now for a yacht. We have other apartments, high-end residential. We are doing a building, 27 apartment condo in Miami, Surfside. That will be launched, I think, the end of the year.
Very nice. Samuel, what other markets are you focusing on? Is it only yachting? Or you also got residential, of course, and what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think the history of Carla's profession and her experience is coming from the residential side. So clearly, single-family homes, new constructions, always with a very high design touch. So everything is kind of bespoke to the client. Carla designs her own furniture for clients to give it a very, very personal touch. And then recently we had the debut with Lady Lene in the yachting industry. So, as she said, we're working on 5 other builds at the moment. So very excited to really focus on the yachting industry because that gives her the opportunity to really bring her talent to the forefront to optimize the space, the beauty of of the end result for the customers.
Yoeri Bijker, responsible for sales, just joined the conversation. And we'd like to speak a little bit about the cooperation between Carla and the Shipyard during the build process, during the design process, and how that all went. So Carla, what can you tell us about the Shipyard and how you worked with it?
I never worked with a shipyard before, then for me everything was new, understand how the process is and how we need to send the shop drawings and how to create all this design for them. But it was very, very easy. We started to look in materials together, then we started to doing the concept together, and I think it was very fluid, right? It's like a very nice and fun process.
Yeah. This is the first time you worked with a designer coming from residential background?
Yes.
Was it different than before, or what?
Yeah, different in a way that you have a completely different approach for interior design, and that is also nice because there's always a couple of specific parts that you need to keep in mind with the design in a yacht. Nothing is straight, so you have to keep in mind that there's also space for technical like air conditioning ducts, plumbing and piping behind the cabinetry, so you need to reserve space for that, much more than in a residential project. I think also working with Carla gave a very fresh approach to a design, in this case Lady Lene, and I think it's very much visible in this design as well. What we usually do is we start from scratch. First of all, in a two-dimensional design, creating a general arrangement like a layout, and there's always a couple of parameters that we discuss with the client. First of all, that you need to make a diagnosis first. What is it exactly that we need to create inside the vessel in terms of a layout and cabin arrangement, a main deck arrangement that would satisfy that particular client. According to that, we create a general arrangement or a layout that fits all of those wishes and needs. And from that moment on, you start to work on an interior three-dimensional model. What you see there is actually that you start looking into material choices, color patterns, and Carla, you can probably tell more about that approach than I can.
Yeah, I think the difference there with the residential projects, it's how detailed is this process. As you need to, it's almost, it's a line between product design and architecture. You really need to design everything. Every junction of materials, you need to be aware that you need to specify. The Shipyard was very good to create everything that we propose, because sometimes I think the approach of the residential, it's we use different materials, and it was a learning back and forth with the materials that we could use here, or that they never used, or they use, no, this is better, or it's too fragile for the yacht.
With Van der Valk you worked with a yacht builder or yacht interior builders. How is that different from contractors and interiors in residential projects? Is there a difference which you can inform us about?
Yes, it's this is the dream, I can say. I wish that we can have this level of finishings in a construction way. Of course, that is much more specific, and then it's much more, but they are another level. Like it's I live in Miami. I built a lot of residential, and this is I think it's a product design. No, it's not a construction design. This is a product design. It's like when you do a furniture, all the quality furniture, you have the same sensation when you build the yacht.